back at it again. Hey guys, it's Molly here again for another video, and you see it from the title. I have done 10 things to never ask a blind person and 10 more things to never ask a blind person. You guys loved those videos. I think a lot of you learned from it. It started a lot of really great discussions in the comments. So we're back at it again with 5 things this time. Not all questions. Some of them are just like things that you just shouldn't say, and people have and do. Some of these things like I wanted to put in videos in the past, but I was nervous to because I know that they are like kind of controversial and will most certainly upset some people. But I'm just here to be my authentic self and share my thoughts and opinions, and that's what I do. I am not all blind people. I am a blind person. You can tell that I'm blind because I have a guide dog, and you can tell that he's a guide dog because he does things on command. Gallop, keep sleeping. See? All right. Shameless self-promo, check out my new audiobook, It's Not What It Looks Like, link down below to download it if you want more of my controversial and radical thoughts and opinions on life and disability. All right, let's get into it in no particular order. Number 1. Have you tried seeing a naturopath or a nutritionist? What about a dietitian? Fish oil isn't gonna give me my sight back, okay? Yes, to answer the question, I have seen a naturopath, I've seen a nutritionist, a dietitian. I've been working with them since I was 14, which is when I went blind, but I didn't go to them because I went blind. I went to them because of like health issues that cropped up near that same time, which is a whole separate issue. But the fact that like a number of people throughout my life have like seriously asked if like I've worked with a nutritionist or like naturopath to get my sight back. I don't know, like I truly believe in the power of like naturopathic medicine and the importance of like nutrition and what proper nutrition can do for your health. But frankly, it's not bringing back my diseased, dead retina. Specialists in my field do of course recommend like eating a healthy, nutritious diet and taking supplements, but it's not to give you your sight back. Like it's not gonna cure you. Hey, I noticed you're missing a left arm. Maybe you should try eating more apples. I hear it helps grow it back. Does anybody think that's logical? Molly from the future coming in. Certain supplements can actually be harmful to different conditions, so you should always be aware and like consult doctors and specialists before you start taking supplements, because for example, vitamin A is supposed to be good for your eyes, but also it can be harmful to your liver. Or also vitamin A, what I learned is too much vitamin A when you have retinitis pigmentosa can in some cases trigger vision loss. When I went through my vision loss at 14, it was so rapid and so unexpected and young. I was taking high doses of vitamin A at the time, and they think that there's a potential that that could have contributed to triggering it. Obviously, it's not the reason, but it could have contributed. So I think it's important to note that like supplements can also have side effects, and like I do take supplements every single day, but I always make sure to consult my specialists for my conditions to make sure that those supplements I'm taking aren't going to have any negative effect on my condition. Whatever, okay. Number 2. Do you know my blind friend? It's not a club. It's not a secret club. We don't all hang out. We're not all friends on Facebook. We're not texting each other every night. Like, I don't know, like, again, it's like me going up to somebody and being like, you're Asian. Do you know my Asian friend? We don't all know each other. Yes, there are Facebook groups and I'm in some of them, but it's not like every blind person in the world is like, let's all join a Facebook group and chat about our struggles. So no, I don't know your blind friend, but also still tell me their name because I might know them. It is a small community, okay? It is, I admit. It's a small community, so if you're super active in the blind community, chances are you've at least heard of them or know somebody else who does know them. But like, I don't know your blind friend in El Salvador. Like, if they're from the Toronto area and I grew up like very heavily involved in the Toronto blind community, like I likely know them, but also I still very well might not. This one is so controversial and I don't want people to get offended, these videos are always where I like get my sass and frustration out, which is why I know they offend some people sometimes, because it's just me like letting out my frustrations and blowing off some steam from things that I get like tired of being asked or get frustrated by or can't frankly understand how society might hold that idea. This one, I understand it, but I feel like for other people to understand why I feel the way I do, it like requires a big explanation. So don't like hear what I have to say and just like go to the comments and go off on me. I want you to like really take time to take this in and understand it from the perspective of somebody who is blind and has had a long journey of self-acceptance. Okay, number 3, with all that up front, can I pray for you? I pray every night. Prayer is a huge part of my life. When I do need things in my life to be prayed upon, I will like ask family members, like, do you mind praying for this for me? I will ask friends who I know also pray. Will you like pray for me with like about this thing in my life? However, I and many of my blind friends have had people come up to us randomly, complete strangers on the streets and just like be like, can I pray for you? And frankly, I find it offensive, and I know a lot of my blind friends do as well. It feels condescending, and I know that people are saying it out of the goodness of their hearts with love and compassion and care. They're not saying it to put you down or make you feel bad about yourself, but how it comes off is somebody who doesn't know you, doesn't know your life story, doesn't know your situation, who comes up to you and says, can I pray for you? Because they assume that your life sucks and you're in a bad situation and you should want to be healed or want to be better or want to be fixed. And that mindset in itself is a massive issue that society holds and that I believe we need to work to change. I went through a long period of wanting to be cured, of wanting to be healed, of feeling angry and frustrated and asking why me. And at that time in my life, if somebody had asked me that, I wouldn't have been so upset by it. But as I went through my journey as a disabled woman who doesn't have a cure as an option in life, I got to the point of like self-acceptance and love. And I feel whole as I am. I don't feel the need to be fixed, to be changed, to be healed. I am confident and I'm happy, and I've done videos about this in the past, so I'm going to link my video about why I don't want a cure down below, as well as a brief speech I gave about social model disability down below, so you can learn a little bit more about that, because I know it's a very radical idea and something that a lot of able-bodied people have either never heard of or struggle to understand, the concept of disabled people not wanting to be cured. I assure you, I am not the only one who feels this way. Not to say that all disabled people or all blind people feel this way, but I'm certainly not the only one to feel this way. And so when somebody out of the blue who doesn't know your circumstance, your belief, how you feel, sees you and just assumes automatically that you need to be prayed for because you're in a bad situation, is hurtful. And it continues to put this idea into your head of like, I'm not good enough as I am because people need to pray for me to be healed or get better. When you don't get better, when you don't heal, then all of a sudden you're like, how do I feel whole? You know, I don't know. It's a very hard thing to explain to people. And I hope I'm doing the explanation justice. But what I'm saying is, don't go up to a stranger or a random person and say like, can I pray for your healing? If you believe in prayer, wait for somebody to ask you, because I don't think it's appropriate to assume that just because somebody is disabled that they want to, quote, be better, because I feel like I am better. Like, I'm in a great life, I'm in a great situation, and I don't feel the need to change. So the assumption of able-bodied people that I should change or that I need to change to have a better life is insulting. Number 4. Can't you just get an eye transplant? I'm not good at science, but even I know if you sever the optic nerve, which you need to do in order to transplant an eye, there is no current way to reattach an optic nerve and create sight patterns from the eye to the brain. So no, you can't get an eye transplant to get sight back. There's no way for them to do that surgery at this point in time with science. If you'd like to know more about the science of my eye disease, retinitis pigmentosa, I recently did a collaboration with It's Okay to Be Smart, a science channel here on YouTube, where he explained, Joe, the guy behind the channel, everything scientifically and medically that happened with my vision loss journey. So that video down below. But we're at number 5. We're at the final spot. So number 5, not a question, but a concerning comment that I've received, and I did a video many years ago. I think it's still up on my channel. If it is, I'll link it below. Like the 5 most weird or insulting things sighted people have said to me as a blind person, and this was one of them. And I just feel the need to readdress it all these years later. This is something nobody should ever say to anybody, not just a blind person, but to anybody. It's insulting to everybody on any angle of this equation, and that is, you're lucky your parents kept you. Somebody said that to me the year after I went blind. That is insulting to children who get adopted, to insinuate that their parents didn't want them, or a lot of adoption happens because parents want a better life for their child. It's a very painful thing for a parent to decide, and it's a very selfless thing for a parent to decide to give their child up for adoption. So to insinuate that parents give their child up for adoption or put them up for adoption because they don't want them is offensive to children who have been adopted, and offensive to parents who have given up their children for adoption. But it's also offensive to disabled people to assume that parents shouldn't want us, or that we are a burden to our families because of our disability. So just don't say that to anybody ever, no matter what. Nobody should ever question why somebody's parents kept them or gave them up for adoption or put them up for adoption. All right? None of us need to talk about it. Period. Fine. We've all moved on. Now, if you've done these things, don't feel bad. This is why I'm making these videos, is to say I'm trying to educate and help and at least share my opinions of how I feel. That's it. We're all here to learn and change and grow as people. I'm interested for everybody else to share their opinions on these things, especially if you are somebody who's ever been on the receiving end of one of these questions or comments. I hope you guys learned something new nonetheless, and